This popcorn-style review contains scenes from another video. March Comes In Like a Lion. March Comes In Like a Lion is about basically a angsty, depressed teenage boy with an inferiority complex who happens to be a professional shogi player, and he meets three girls. One of them is fairly interesting, the other two are just moe blobs. And it's about how he deals with his depression. Now, the thing about the main character is that he doesn't, his life is actually great if you look at it. You know, he makes more money than his teacher. Everyone around him they just bend over backward to help him, really. Everyone's nice to him. I mean, he doesn't have any friends at school other than his teacher, but even that starts to change towards the end of the show. So there's not even a real reason for him to be depressed, but I feel like in a way that's actually kind of more realistic, because depression doesn't require you to be depressed for a reason. It's more of like a mental condition. What the show does do is it has a sort of subtle character progression, specifically for the main character. It's less like a lion, like the title would suggest, and more like a gentle breeze, flowing subtly and softly from the start of the story to the end of the story. And the main character doesn't have these moments where he makes sudden realizations. It's more like over time and over his interactions with other characters, he gradually begins to change. Comparing him from the start of the show, where he doesn't even want to go over to the girls' houses, to the end of the show where he'll just show up for not necessarily the fun of it because he's still depressed, but he at the end it shows him willingly going over to their house to have dinner. Or the difference in how assertive he is from the beginning to the end. And I think it shows this gradual, realistic character progression really well. In fact, I'd say the entire show is pretty well made from a production standpoint. And another thing it does really well is demonstrates the complex feelings of the character. Because it's so tied to the main character and his inner monologues, we get to see most notably his feelings on his older sister and Shogi, both of which we get conflicting statements from him on, of whether he likes Shogi and his older sister, or he hates Shogi or his older sister. And this isn't actually to the show's detriment, because what it successfully portrays is that it's actually a mixture of feelings. There are things he enjoys about it and things he doesn't, and he flip-flops internally, and by the end of the season, you don't come away with a true understanding of whether he likes Shogi and his sister, or whether he hates them. And I think that's notable because I don't think he knows either. And so it really properly portrays his complex feelings. March Comes In Like a Lion does a good job of portraying its at least main character and general premise realistically, even if the characters surrounding him, with the exception of two people, aren't necessarily the most in-depth. My biggest issue with the show is its just general premise, because the main character is basically just a normal depressed teenager. And if you were to shove a camera into the brain of a normal depressed teenager, I don't think it would make a very interesting show. And I don't think March Comes In Like a Lion makes a very interesting show either. I can certainly see why people would appreciate it, but it is definitely not something I was into. The show never made me bored, but it never made me interested or gave me reason to care about anything that was happening, and so I never did. It was a little too much like a breeze and not enough like a lion. Twitch and Discord in the description. I've been Sacrobolic. You're Envoy of Hope. Bye-bye.